Joining us now with more on Benny Gantz's failure to form a government, we have political strategist and director of English operations with the New Right Party, or Yamina Hadash, Jeremy Saltan. And former Knesset candidate for Yisrael Beitenu on the other side, Colonel Olivier Rafowicz. Thank you both so much for being with us today. Colonel, I'll start with you today. Are we on the way to third elections, or is there any chance that our leaders can pull something together in the next 3 weeks?
I believe that there is a possibility still that we can form a government, a unity government. It is very important for Israel. Personally, I believe that many people in Israel, most of the people in Israel, would like to have this government and not a third round of election. But it's depending now on the leaders of all the parties. And from today, people are still talking. Sometimes it's visible, sometimes it's not visible. But I think we still have to be optimistic. It won't be easy, but it's still a possibility.
Jeremy?
Well, the key really is in Avigdor Lieberman's hands. We're in a situation where it's very obvious that Gantz and Netanyahu do not want to sit with each other. We've had 2 elections, and it's quite clear that they do not want to have a unity government, despite whatever we might be hearing from both sides. And if we go back to where we were at the beginning of this election, in the president's residence, neither side, neither bloc was able to get a majority, because there was one guy who decided that he didn't want to choose, and his name is Avigdor Lieberman. And he has ability today, during the 21 days, to go ahead and decide that he's choosing a side. He can choose the right side, he can choose the left side. But if he chooses a side, we will have a government, or at least at this point, sign on the signatures so that we have a third mandate, because we're not sure if we are going to a third mandate yet. But if we fail to go to a third mandate, I think both Gantz and Netanyahu will look at Lieberman and blame him.
All right, well, you ran with the Yisrael Beitenu party. To what degree is Lieberman responsible here? And would any sort of government, if he chose a minority government with the left or the right-wing bloc to join, are either of those really tenable or stable governments?
You know, I'm very happy that the gentleman thinks that Lieberman is the key guy for this election, but it's not true. And it's very simple to accuse someone when you are not capable by yourself to do things. We don't want to have a minority government, not from the left side and not from the right side, because it's not good for Israel. What we want is a general unity government with a stable majority, with a liberal side. We don't want to have Arabs, and we don't want to have Orthodox together. For us, it's the same. We want to have Kahol Lavan, blue and white, and Likud together, at least. If they want us to be together, fine, but at least Likud and blue and white. The point that some people think that we are the responsible, it's not a mistake. It's a terrible misperception of the reality. Because for the good of Israel, for the sake of Israel, Israel needs a large coalition. Not a minority, I repeat, not a minority government, not from the left side, of course not with the Arabs, not from the right side, which is actually not a real right side, because the bloc, just to one point, the bloc, the right bloc so-called, is not a real right bloc, because the Orthodox parties don't care about Israel, not to be right, not to be left, they care only for their own interest, and for us it's very important to have this coalition with, again I repeat, Likud, and with blue and white.
But Yisrael Beitenu has worked with the religious parties in the past.
Correct.
Could something change in the next 3 weeks to make that partnership, available again?
What can change is maybe, hopefully, something within the Likud or within a blue and white party, because the key are in the 2 big parties. Now, to think that Lieberman is in charge of all the Israeli politics is very nice, but it's a dream. We would like to be, by the way, we would like to be a big party. We are only 8 seats.
Let's go back to reality, all right? Okay, there were 55 recommendations for Netanyahu, there were 54 for Gantz, and there was someone who decided not to choose either side, and that's Lieberman. If you want to say that it's not his fault for not choosing, so it is. And Israelis are going to go ahead and say, if we do go to a third election, that it's not an acceptable situation. Again, you can say, oh, we have principles. Oh, we can't be flexible. Oh, our stuff is very important. But you want to know what? The Israeli public is not going to accept that. Everyone made a choice. And at the end of the day, you have to choose one of them.
How do you see third elections playing out, should they occur, in terms of the breakup of the parties?
If we do go ahead and go to a third election, we're going to end up the same place that we are right now. You know,
don't think there'll be any changes?
We went between the first and second election, we switched less than 20 MKs. And what happened was Likud dropped from 35 to 32, and Blue and White dropped from 35 to 33.
Well, but the Likud also absorbed two parties and still dropped from 30.
But again, no matter what happens, at this point in time, the entire country is stuck between the right bloc and the left bloc. And there's one person who's sitting in the middle and refuses to make a determination of which side he's on. And it's on him.
Okay.
Final comments.
Yeah, just because the country is divided, there is a need to unite the country, not to continue this fracture between the right and the left. The main interest of the State of Israel is to unite the two big parties. I'm very surprised that someone like you, who you know very well politics in Israel, refuse to see this reality. The majority of the people in Israel want a unity, large government, large coalition. They don't want a minority government. They don't want
if they wanted a majority, they would have voted for Yisrael Beitenu. Yisrael Beitenu asked for unity government. You got only an additional 3 seats.
Final sentence, and then we have to wrap.
No comment to this.
We can have a 63 MK government with Lieberman and the right-wing bloc tomorrow.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it plays out. They have 21 days to finalize such a government.
But I'm still optimistic that, for the sake of Israel, we will find a solution to avoid third elections.
I hope for your sake. I hope for all of our sakes.
For all of us, of course.
Thank you so much for coming in, gentlemen.
Sure.
Thank you.